So we're back in our Unreal project. I've imported my 3 texture maps, and I've even got the original texture map that we either built or downloaded without any of the treatment that we've done to it in Substance. For example, this one's got these little added black dots, and this one's the original, so we'll even have the possibility to interpolate between each one of these. So I'm just looking at the detailed lighting here, and I've got my reflections showing in the floor, which is great. So let's find the floor material. Pretty basic right now, and what I'm going to do straight away is just create a material instance of that floor, and I'm going to assign that to the floor. So that's the material instance, and we've got the floor instance here. So we're able to work on both of these at the same time. So if I want to access the parent, the original material, I just double click on there. Great. So now, super simple, we can just add our textures. Hopefully they will come in with the right format. So let's just double click quickly. So that should be sRGB. The reason why that's not come through, I'm not sure. So it's gone a little bit brighter, we'll have to deal with that. This one is sRGB. This one shouldn't be sRGB, but it's a normal map, so that's great. And the roughness shouldn't be sRGB. To make sure, I'm going to re-import this one. There you go. Well, make sure that's ticked. Alright, so it looks a bit bright to me. Let's just have a look at that. Right, well that's actually interesting because the previous one was imported as a PNG, and when it came into Unreal this was not ticked, and when I did tick it, it became too bright. So I've actually imported it as a JPEG now, and literally as it came in like this with sRGB ticked and the image looking the right color, similar to this one. So that's good news. Try it like this. Okay, so I've checked just to show you, double check these 2 images really should look the same. This one and that one, this one being the one in Substance and this one being the one in Unreal. So same with our this is the diffuse image that was not looking right, which now is looking right. Yeah, these are both the same images. Okay, great. So now we've got our instance floor, and we have our base material. So the first thing I'm going to do is import our texture maps and link them like this. Give ourselves a bit of room. And the roughness, so that's linear color, that's good. We'll put that in through there. Normal. And we'll give it this. So already we see in the preview here that we've got a really nice looking floor, and then looking material, I mean, it's not quite a floor yet. And now, so here it's, well, all the work we've done already has appeared all by magic, but there's obviously quite a lot of back and forth that's possible now. But here we've got our concrete kind of little indents in here, and we've got our normal roughness in the distance. Let's see how that looks. All good. So in order to build our variation, I'll just quickly take you through the steps that I would normally take to being able to play around with this material in the editor a little bit more. So I'll just say I have a linear interpolation between these two, so I'll just press the L key and click here, and we've got our loop node, and I would just give myself the option, if I click S, then here I've got a parameter that I'll be able to control into my instance material. So I'll give diffuse textures amount, and I'll put that into the alpha, and I'll give that default value of 0.5, so it'll be interpolated between those two textures, and that will give me the option to control the amount of darkness, if you want, in those holes. So I'll move my details panel over here. So let's see how that works. Diffuse texture amount. So see now, when I go to 0, let's clamp these two values so that I've got diffuse texture amounts, and I'll have slider min, and the max I'll put that on 1. So save. So if I'm on 1, I've got one texture, and if I'm on 0, I've got the other texture without this kind of variation. So this is the one that's been output from Substance, and this is the one that we used to input into Substance. So you see there's quite a lot of changes that texture has gone through. So we can affect that, and so now, so here the specular, I always like to play around with this. It's a bit, so I'll rename that before specular, and convert to parameter, of course, and we will, so we'll play around with that, but my default value is 0.2, and that's really my own experience, and I think the common accepted strategy here is to leave it at 0.5 and to not use it. Anyway, so we'll continue with the roughness. Here what I'd like to do is give myself the option to turn it up or down. So I'll give myself a multiply node and connect that to it, of course, back to roughness. And here I'll press S, and I'll put roughness amount and give myself a default value of 1, and I won't clamp that. Finally, we've got the normal, and here I'm just going to right click and choose the flatten normal node, and that will give me the option to completely turn off my normal. So I'll press S again, and here I'll say flatten normal and connect that up, and I'll give that a default value of 1 and a max value of 1, which will clamp between 0 and 1. Okay, I think that's it. I've left out the metallic node, which is 0. So let's see a little bit what we can do with this. So I'll turn them on, maybe see what, turn my roughness down so we can see a little bit more reflection. So that was obviously too bright. And I'll turn down my specular to about 0.2. So here I'm completely, if I go to the detail lighting, you'll see I'm completely void of normal because I've got my flattened normal on 1. And our roughness has gone very, very, very low. So there you go. Something of the sort. So here I'm really becoming a little bit limited because I haven't got a skylight. So I didn't want to confuse things too much, but it is really about time to put in a skylight and to change a little bit our daylight. So I will end the concrete material example here. I will let you obviously play for hours with these values and to try and really deeply understand how these nodes work and these new types of texture maps work and how you can achieve great effects with that.